Put this somewhere. I don't like not seeing people.
Oh, no, it drives, yeah.
There we go. Whew. Boy, that's been bugging me
You
ever
better now?
since. Clerk's ready? Good to go? All right. In that case, we'll call the Monday, February 9th, 2026 City Council of Nome, Alaska meeting to order at 7 p.m. May I call the roll, please?
Councilmember Lust.
Here.
Councilmember Green.
Here.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Councilmember Henderson.
Here.
Councilmember Mortensen.
Haven't heard from him.
He sent me something and said he was not able to pull the agenda. He was having the same issue, but he did not say if he was coming or not, so I'm not sure. He was just asking the question, where is it? So I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, so he's absent.
Okay. Councilmember Johnson. He's present.
He's on.
He was going to be here on Zoom.
He's here on Zoom.
He's on.
I see. You're the only one.
Yeah.
With all the Zoom stuff.
He's muted.
Ask him to unmute. He should still be able to hear us.
Yeah. Sometimes being way over here, you can't because of these speakers up here.
Mark, we're doing a roll. Sorry.
Council.
Can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear. Just doing a roll.
Sorry.
Student Representative Stasenko.
Here.
You call everyone? Already?
Yes.
Cool. Looks like we've got quorum.
I'm good.
Is his phone cutting in and out? I was thinking it was me.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is approval of the
Motion to approve the agenda.
motion by Councilmember Lust, second by Councilmember Henderson for approval of agenda. Is there any discussion? Discussion, call the roll on the agenda, please.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Councilmember Lust.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes, can you please speak up louder? I can hardly hear you.
Okay, I got you. Sorry about that.
Okay, looks like the agenda motion passed. Next item is the approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Approve them both in bulk.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Motion by Councilmember Henderson, seconded by Councilmember Lust to adopt both A and B minutes. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, call the roll.
Councilmember Lust.
Reading of that.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yeah,
Okay, motion carries on the agenda. Sorry, on the minutes. Next item, communications. Item A, letter from NSCDC regarding the Community Employment Program guidelines and application. Item B, also from NSCDC, the 2025 Community Employment Program. And also from NSCDC, 2026 Community Employment Program and Community-Based Training. Items in your agenda for information primarily. And also an item, email from Nome Preschool. Thank you for support. Any questions or comments on the communication items? Hearing none, we can move on to citizens' comments.
I go up here.
Yeah. Just state your name for the record and then proceed.
Yeah, all right. My name is Keen Richards, and I'm a teacher at the school district here at Anvil City Science Academy. I've lived in Nome about 7 years now, lifelong Alaskan. And this morning, got an email. I'll just read part of it. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It says, "Greetings, teachers." That's from our superintendent. "In recent history, we've always been able to offer contracts to both tenured and non-tenured teachers who were recommended by their principals at our February board meeting. However, since the city council and city manager have not indicated yet if the city council will support or ask for $3.5 million for an appropriation, which I believe is 80% of the maximum, we are unable to offer non-tenured contracts at this time." And then continues on from there. And so, being a teacher who also is non-tenured at the school district, I just had a few things I'd like to speak to on that point. And just to start, I will say, I think my impression as a country is that we are getting more and more divided in terms of how we view education, especially when it comes to our socioeconomic status. People who are very wealthy can always afford to pay for education. Others really depend on our public education system. And as somebody who grew up on about $10,000 a year on a remote homestead in Alaska, I guess I can assure you that every dollar we spend on our kids really does matter. So where I grew up, north of Eagle, on a homestead, my parents were from California. They moved up to Alaska to try to make their home out in the wilderness because it's what they really enjoyed. Were lucky enough to make themselves successful and raise a family out there. We got connected with a school district out of Tok, and the superintendent there, Spike Jorgensen at the time, was also a bush pilot. And Spike made it his personal goal to deliver school books and get all of the bush families connected to the public education system so that they could have course materials and be enrolled in school and end up graduating with a diploma. And I still remember to this day, every fall time when Spike would come out there, he'd land his little Super Cub on our little gravel airstrip and have a full airplane load of books and course materials for us to go ahead and study. And boy, were we excited when he'd drop off those school books. I mean, it was like more than ice cream excitement, okay, for us. And we didn't get ice cream very often. So education meant the world to me growing up. And I probably wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be a teacher today if, that one person hadn't really committed to trying to get us enrolled in those studies. However, I feel like today, the value of that education is increasingly lessened. And in our conversations between both with our school district at times, but also with the city, it feels like teachers, and more importantly, the students who depend on those teachers, are not valued. And while I know the city has a lot of different commitments, and I know that there are very important tasks and responsibilities the city has to perform, in my opinion, funding our schools at a level that is sustainable for teachers to stay here. In other words, that you're ensuring teachers have a job year to year, making sure that they want to stay in the profession. So that means not having to worry about their job security. And of course, funding schools at the level where you have all of the other commitments, right? We have to heat our buildings, right? We have to maintain our old structures, all of those things. It's the most important thing we can do in our city because our kids really are our future. At this time, that does not feel like the priority of the city. And I'll be honest in saying to Mr. Smith, I feel like you have a lot of trust you have to rebuild after coming into this town and slashing the allocation by the amount that you did. And I don't know you personally, so I'll welcome that trust. I'd encourage you to come into my school, into the science classroom at ACSA. Love to see you there. You will get to witness the things that I do every day. I can guarantee you if you spend a day there, you would not consider slashing that funding because the work we do is so important. And again, it's not on behalf of my job. It's not on behalf of the staff that I work with. It's the kids who depend on the teachers to be there every day. Teachers are the most important most important cogs in the great wheel of education, and we should be the last things that anybody is considering cutting from any budget. That's my comments.
Are there any further citizen comments? All right, we'll move on to the agenda. We have nothing under unfinished business. Under new business, we have a number of items.
Is Nikki on? Nikki, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. We'll go ahead and get started. Nikki has the bulk of this here, so I'm not going to block her. But Nikki, if you go ahead and continue with your report and the readings. And
I believe that the ordinance has to be read before Nikki starts doing her
okay,
report.
just the general, not the whole.
One at a time.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, is it okay if I
Yeah.
read those?
Sure.
Yeah, Dan said explain it first, so I guess. Go ahead.
Ordinance 026-02-02, an ordinance amending the City of Nome fiscal year 2026 general fund municipal budget. I make a motion.
Motion by Councilmember Henderson to adopt. Seconded by Councilmember Lust. Is there any discussion on this first reading? Hearing no discussion, may call roll on the motion to adopt,
Councilmember Green,
introduce.
Yes.
Councilmember Lust,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. It is in for first reading. Item B.
Ordinance 026-02-03, an ordinance amending the City of Nome fiscal year 2026 special revenue fund budget.
I'll second.
Make that motion.
Oh, Mark can have it.
Okay, Councilmember Johnson with the motion, Councilmember Henderson with the second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
So sorry, we're gonna read all of these and then Nikki
Yep.
can give us the,
Yes.
okay, got it.
Okay. Call the roll then on item B.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lust.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item C.
Ordinance 026
Brad, can I interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
Normally, we have discussion if you all have questions. And I put memos in the packet for each fund, and I guess I don't want to get too far in if there were questions back at the general fund. Usually that happens under discussion.
You can go through all these. I remember a similar situation. Go through all these and go back and do your discussion. All you're doing is put it on, place it officially on the table today. So you can go through them and then do discussion on all of them at one time, since we've already started that road, if that's okay.
Is that okay with you, Nikki?
It's fine, whatever works.
Okay.
Item C.
Ordinance 026-02-04, an ordinance amending the City of Nome fiscal year 2026 capital projects fund budget.
Make a motion.
Motion to adopt by Councilmember Lust, seconded by Councilmember Henderson. Any discussion on mid-year capital fund? Hearing none, call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lust,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Looks like motion carries. Next item, D.
Ordinance 026-02-05, an ordinance amending the City of Nome fiscal year 2026 construction capital budget capital projects fund budget. Sorry.
Make the motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Councilmember Lust, seconded by Councilmember Henderson. Discussion held for later, so may call the roll.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lust,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item E, mid-year report fund.
Ordinance 026-02-06, an ordinance amending the City of Nome fiscal year 2026 Port of Nome fund budget.
Motion to adopt
Make the motion to adopt.
by Councilmember Lust,
Second.
seconded by Councilmember Henderson. Discussion held for later. Call the roll on port fund.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lust,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, mid-year report capital projects fund.
Ordinance 025 hang on a second.
Whoops.
Typo. Ordinance 026-02-07, an ordinance amending the City of Nome fiscal year 2026 Port of Nome capital projects fund budget.
Make the motion to adopt.
Motion by Councilmember Lust, seconded by Councilmember Henderson. Discussion upcoming. All those in favor of advancing to first reading, clerk may call the roll.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lust,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Motion carries. So all of the fund projects have been introduced. Nikki, if you'd want to talk about them for a moment, or would you rather just have questions?
I would like her to kind of give you a summary going
Okay.
down. She's prepared to do that.
Sure.
Thank you. Don't leave me now, Nikki. Maybe she did.
Helps if I take myself off mute.
There you
Do
go.
want me to walk you through the memos, or do you just want a brief summary?
Go ahead and do a brief summary. If we get any more detail, we may want to, if we get into capital funds, a lot of questions go into some of that, but yeah, do the brief summaries first.
Okay, so in the general fund revenue, we are amending the budget $559,249. This will take us to a total of $17,636,917. This increases fund balance $56,584 to a total of $287,127 in fund balance. The major increases in the revenue were in sales tax and the remote seller sales tax. Are there questions about revenue?
Hi, Nikki. What's driving those increases? Generally.
So we budgeted fairly flat when we went into F26, and 3 out of the 5 months collected by December 31 were, the collection was 100,000 over each one of our monthly projections. So things seem to be ramping up in the summer. It was quiet, I believe, in December and October.
So pretty much a lot of the construction activity that's happening in the summertime is what's driving those increases?
I would say I can certainly put together one of our category reports for our next meeting, so you guys can take a look at that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's awesome. Yeah. And remote sellers, people are doing better. We're getting more. It keeps going up. Okay, Nikki, go ahead.
And then general fund expense, again, we're increasing the budget $559,249. And that's a total again of $17,636,917. We have a decrease of $99,000 in salary and benefits. an increase of 528,000 over operating in different departments. And some of what's driving this is some prior year invoicing came in late. We had one for public works snow removal for close to 130,000, so we were increasing our snow removal. We put dollars into administration for an HR contract and purchased some budget software. So going into F27, we'll be using Unibudget software. The other increases came from transfers out and vehicle replacement for 79,000. The police department's vehicle from F25 rolled into F26. So we're just doing a true up there. And then there's another $46,997 going to capital projects that I can walk you through when we get to that fund. Are there questions about the general fund expense?
Lee, could you walk us through some of the position changes in personnel in terms of deleting or removing some of the positions, creating a couple of new ones? Could you walk us through kind of the thought process behind some of those, especially the bigger ones?
Some of those are just the time of the year. We're advertising for some. We know we'll only have so many months, so many weeks to pay. So some were adjusted based on that. For now, for the next few months, for instance, HR is vacant. I'm going to, obviously we've started budget, but I have it in there for some contractual services plus a person. So, for now, but now I don't have anyone. So it doesn't mean a position went away. It's just that the dollars,
So you don't plan on replacing that position in FY26? That's what it says. You've removed it.
Yeah, for
HR
this
and
year,
for the
but
assistant city manager position.
yeah, but we're going to, where I'm at right now
But
is
that will change, may change.
oh, it
for
definitely, it's
next
going
year's
to change.
budget. Okay.
Yeah. And it's probably sometime I'll be bringing it to you. It's a little bit of a mix of a couple things, but I'm playing with the different opportunities right now. So
What about NPD?
MPD, we actually put in, I think, see, I look at one chief, I'm looking at chiefs everywhere, man. That's right. And it's good to see you, Will. We had, I think, typically 6, but we put in 7. Give me the details, Nikki, on that, because we put something in, I guess, Wednesday or Thursday, we pull that for me.
We put, originally in F26, we budgeted 6 patrol officers, but we had potential of losing a couple of officers. And so the police department stayed staffed at 7. And so I'm just truing us back up to 7.
Yeah, because there was.
Is that what you asked?
Yeah, because there was thought of going to 6, but based on what we're seeing for shifts and the need that, 7, I had worked out that with Will, that was absolutely necessary to get to that 7. That kind of had us at as best maximum as possible. Yeah.
It looks like you're added a deputy chief position.
Yes, and in talking to the new chief, we have been talking about I'll bring something to you that it would have that authority. He has an idea about a title, so I'll be bringing something to you about that, or the new chief will. It will be there, but it's
So
his
I guess
how he
the
wants to
question is,
title it.
what's the thought process? Because we've gone without a deputy chief for the last two, maybe 3 years. And now we're adding one.
There will be a deputy chief.
And what's the thought process behind that?
I would have to, first of all, new chief wanted one and I offered up one. If you need that support based on what the council had said. And I'd almost, I'm almost in my report. Do you want to come on up and talk about it, the lieutenant thing versus he's the law enforcement guy. I knew it might come up. So, yeah.
Well, it's great seeing everybody again.
By the way, this is your new chief.
And the old chief.
Yeah, the introduction's later.
But my thought process as far as a deputy chief position goes is that, I cannot always guarantee that I will be in town. I will always answer the phone. I will always be the man responsible for the police department. But at times when I am absent, at times when I'm on vacation, whatever it might be, there has to be someone that steps up to the plate and wears that title as chief of police. Now, it's more of a reclassification of a title than it is anything else, because right now we currently have 2 sergeants. One would be promoted to lieutenant, which is effectively a deputy chief, and that's all basically it is. It's just that it's not like we're adding a whole new position. We're just reclassifying him to give him the authority in my absence to make these decisions. And that's one of the things I brought up. And it's nothing against Will. He's going back to New Zealand tomorrow, so he's going to be enjoying the climate back there. But I think we're lucky to have gone 2 years, and Will's did a tremendous job. We're lucky to have gone 2 years and not have that situation arise. So I know when I was on vacation back in the day and Bob was up here, Flo went missing, and we had a big problem at the police department where we had waste coming up in one of the bays, and we had the FBI up here, and I'm back east. So I can't address that as effectively as someone on the ground. And I have enough faith, and the man that I'm going to be hopefully volunteering for this position is sitting right here, and that's Brandon. You all know him. He's got a level head on his plate. He potentially could be the chief of police. You just never know. So I know I have full faith in him. I would not have offered him up as the candidate if I didn't. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer. So
He hit the ground running, I will
Yeah,
say that.
That answers my question. I do support having a deputy chief. I was just curious if, by not having one over the last couple of years, if that's actually caused us some operational challenges at the police department.
The logic, that's why I wanted him, I understand that, those rankings and stuff, but I wanted you guys to hear that.
and I like to speak in public. So
Thanks, chief.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I guess I missed the chief there, but I had a further question on the salaries for dispatch. How did they reduce so far?
The last part, what
What was the question exactly?
Okay, on salaries for dispatch,
Uh-huh.
they reduced 148,000, and I'm just curious, how did that happen? Or why is that?
Nikki, go ahead and,
They've been having a real struggle filling positions. They've had 2 to 3 vacancies throughout the year. It's my understanding they still have 3, and I think there's been some coverage from police officers as well as admin staff, and so they just didn't use those funds.
and I will tell you, we are desperate for telecommunicators in 911. They're hard to find. They're hard to keep. That'll be, for me, a priority in the budget to look at any way we can help. I know everybody has tried. So we're going to try something, and talking to the new chief, try some other things, with the schools, see if we can start training kids at 11th, 12th grade, with contracts to give them a job after they get out of schools, all kinds of things. But 911, we've got a major problem with people and keeping them. And some of it is the pay. So just know that's going to be a priority.
To follow up on that, Lee, because we have such a challenge in retaining personnel, why are you planning on cutting the HR position? I mean, how many positions do we have? Full-time, part-time?
So
I think previously you've indicated about
dispatch?
70. No, in the city total. How many positions?
It ranges 70, 75.
So how do you anticipate filling the HR responsibilities for the city if you're not going to have an HR officer?
Well, and I won't go into this deep, but maybe at the next work session I can go through it, because I am looking at how we first of all, how do we conduct the service, operate HR? We did set up a temporary that what I want to do is make sure that the flow for HR, whatever the issue is, that it's efficient, we get it done quickly because we just weren't there where we should have been. So we're testing kind of the, this new HR, but it's process. And I want to know what that is to apply a human, to apply, you know, some of it is going to be, you know, in our budget information, HR, which that's going to be helpful to us. So, you know, we have an HR module. So I'm still looking at it. And I said, you know, in budget, I'd look at exactly. I think I'm going to have a human, you know, is it 3/4 of that time or is it, do I mix it with a position? Don't know. So I'm just saying the jury's out until I see all the processes.
So you'll have more detail for us regarding that at the second reading from this.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Got it.
Thanks.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I had a further question on the police budget, and that is regarding the salaries for overtime, officer overtime. I see that in FY '24, we had 208,000. In FY '25, we had 189,000. For the first 7 months of this year, we're about at 80,000, and we are keeping the approved budget steady at 175. My question is it reducing apparently because we're making an honest effort to bring in officers that are not rotational, causing less than overtime?
Can you talk about that, Will? Could you, yeah, if I was asking, if Will could come up and talk about that, this was obviously his budget for now, so.
Yeah, basically a lot of the budget has to do with just, we run a very short shift. I mean, the department is rotational, so, you know, the officers we have, we essentially have an A and B shift, and so we have half a department in operation at any given time. And so oftentimes we're having to backfill. We're running lighter on officers than we have in the last few years. So we've had to put officers on overtime. Also, officers are also covering in the dispatch center. So I'll have to pull officers to work overtime to cover the phones.
So can you answer my question? Are we going to make an effort towards having permanent officers here in town as opposed to rotational officers if we can?
Yeah, that's always been the priority. Any time we can get an officer that wants to be here full time, we're going to hire that officer. Or if officers that are currently employed want to move here full time, we encourage that. The issue is we don't have any officers ever wanting to apply full time here, and part of the problem is that we're not very competitive with the rest of the state as far as full time positions. We don't offer the salaries. We don't offer the hiring bonuses and just other things these other bigger departments can offer that we can. So we lose on kind of an apples to apples comparison with other departments across the country. But the one draw that we do have is that rotational shift. This is where we get the interest, and that's unfortunately where we have to draw our officers. But yeah, if we do have officers that want to come here full time, they're a priority. That's always been the case. And the reason why we went to the rotational shift, Chief Heinzelman did way back when, was because we couldn't get people to work here.
I didn't know if Mark was done. I have a question.
Okay.
Mark, were you
One
done?
more comment regarding that real quick was, and I appreciate your answer there, Will. We have new administration coming on. I think as a city council, we need to look at that effort stronger than what it has been for the last several years, even before Will came on, to see if there's something we can encourage to have our officers stay for years and years. We had officers that were here in town, not rotational. We went to that mode under one of the previous chiefs. And it is a mode that's used by other departments. I know that as well. But we have a very desirable town to move to with a lot of things to offer. And I think that's more than what some of the other outlying areas have. So I think when we go through the budget process and talk with the interim chief, we should really focus on how we can maybe meet those needs of having full-time in-town officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Will, you said earlier that Nome isn't really competitive with some of the other, alternatives that police officers are looking for. I always assume that Nome competes with the other hub communities, like Bethel, like Barrow, like Kotzebue. And we're not really trying to compete with Anchorage or Fairbanks. Any idea of how far apart we are, or, is it benefits? Is it compensation? What is it?
Well, I think those departments also struggle to fill their departments. And I don't know exactly what the answer is. I think a lot of it is pay. You're going to have to incentivize the work with pay. And, just examples, a trooper sergeant here in Nome makes $200,000 a year. I mean, that doesn't include overtime. That doesn't include all the other benefits that he would get. By the end of a year, they're close to $300,000 a year. I mean, a sergeant here is probably making, 140, 150. So half that. I don't know what the answer is to this. I mean, money always seems to solve a lot of problems. I don't know that that's what we want to do here, but housing is a problem. Trying to find activities for children or people. This is a very unique place, and it's a very tough transition for people that are looking for a new job to come up to a place like this and get themselves settled.
Do a lot of our officers end up transferring to the state? If they're, wanting to stay, in Alaska? And
I think
get their experience here.
I think a lot of the small town cops in the state will ultimately try to get to the state police. Sure, try to get to Anchorage, try to get to Fairbanks, some of the bigger departments that afford them more opportunities, better pay. Sure.
Thanks, appreciate your input.
Any more questions for Will while we're going? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your service to our community. Nikki, you want to go ahead and continue with your summaries?
In the special revenue fund, we adjusted the revenue and expense up $350,394. The majority of this increase is just taking into account what's available to spend in NSEDC funds during this fiscal year, as well as $45,000 on E911. We received $45,000 in prior year payments in July and August. The library has a $10,000 grant through the IMLS program. They're partnering with Nome Common Community, and the funds are used to support literacy, youth programming, and library materials. And they also have a $25,000 grant through the Department of Health, which is also for early literacy and kindergarten readiness. Questions about special revenue?
Nikki, can we go back to the general fund for a minute?
Sure.
Looking at the landfill line item, I think it increased almost by 50%. And I haven't looked at the detail in the actual budget. Could you summarize why our landfill budget increased 50%?
The salaries and benefits are up in the landfill due to activity close to $97,000. They also had some equipment repairs. So that's increased $20,000. I believe it was the 966F and the Komatsu dozer.
And that was not included in the original budget?
The repairs, no.
No, the actual debt service. I think there was a
The debt service is the landfill
That's
compactor,
the
and that wasn't
So that was not in the budget. I think we approved that after.
Yeah, and there would be
Correct.
two $18,000 payments in this fiscal year we're in. So
How many FTEs are allocated to the landfill?
looking at Cole, do you have 2 or 3 dedicated to landfill?
Full-time employees.
Full-time employees.
One.
Oh, so we just have one FTE?
We have one that's being trained because we suspect there one's going to be leaving soon. And we need coverage for off shifts and weekends.
So if I could, sorry, new council member, the landfill has always been something that's been sort of an enigma to me because we use a third party to collect the trash. And maybe somebody could just give me a quick rundown. I don't mean to take up everybody's time, but we use a third party to pick up the trash. We own the landfill, but yet we use a city employee to operate the landfill.
That we own.
And then that we own. And then, so all of the fees, like extra garbage fees, anything like that, does any of that make its way back to the city, or is that just like icing on the cake for the contractor?
Fees are a problem. That's going to be discussed during budget, people not paying. And so that's a big item. And we also have a person for Montefiore too, correct? Yeah, so that's the 2 that I was thinking, Montefiore and what I call sanitary landfill.
Got
it. Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
Nikki, continue.
we done with the general fund?
Yeah,
Yes,
That's good.
thank you.
Are we good with the special revenue fund?
looks good. Capital fund, go ahead.
Capital projects has increased $75,712. They did a true up to the HUD grant, a reduction of $52,407, just to what was really available to spend for FY26. We added that $79,569 for a transfer in for the vehicle the police department purchased in F25, but it didn't get here until F26. $40,000 for the estimated cost to remodel 504 Warren Place, and adding additional $6,000 to cover the engine rebuild on the Cat 160M. This fund is now at $708,883 for revenue and expense.
Probably a stupid question, but what is 504 Warren Place?
Isn't that the 3D?
It's,
Is that the 3D?
it's a home over on Warren that we own and we have used as apartments for our contractors. Is that so we have done the renovation so we can get it back and use it again instead of having to pay rent out in places for our contractors.
How did we acquire that property?
I don't know. We've had it for years,
Oh,
so
yeah.
somebody else would have to, yeah. It's been around a long time as I understand.
Okay.
But, and our guys are doing the work when they can, Public Works, a little at the time. So they've saved us some money getting it renovated, so.
Thanks.
I don't remember that.
Any further questions on the capital fund? All right. Construction fund, Nikki?
Just, are they gonna be continuing with the 3D printing house?
Yeah,
Very
they
likely.
they come back when it warms up.
Are they gonna, do they give any indication on whether they're gonna be able to do it properly or without any issues?
Based on what, we'll see, the mayor and I had a meeting a couple weeks ago, I thought a good meeting on, some of the things they found, even the way they're gonna insulate that layering and all that, it seemed to be better. But they said when they get here next time, they're gonna finish it off and be complete. And it looks like they're going to get, some additional money. HUD said yes, and Kenai?
Rasmussen, Denali?
Denali, yeah, Rasmussen. They're going to, I feel strongly they're going to get the additional money to finish. So
Then what's gonna happen with it after it gets done?
They're gonna give it to the city for whatever we'd like to do with it. well, they plan on making it nice enough so that it is livable in some place where you'd want to actually spend some time. Thought we'd maybe use it as our city manager quarters.
Yeah.
Deputy clerk house, yeah.
So stop, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
We've all joked.
they do want some living in it so that they can continue to collect data about how the building functions for a typical whomever, may not be typical, but whoever lives there, you know. They're also planning to, this was an experiment, and with all experiments, they had a couple of bobbles. But they'd like to expand and do more. The whole deal is getting cement. So they're looking at funding a batch plant for actually making cement here. And if they can figure out how to do that cost effectively, then it kind of opens the door for it being a cost effective way of building generally. And so they have been able to get some proprietary formulations that cost tremendous amounts of dollars to come up with advanced to them for their use. So they don't have to necessarily bear the entire burden for development of all of the technology that it will take to do this. But nonetheless, the plan is to continue working with it and to advance it to completion and beyond. Any other questions on the mid-year construction fund?
So we increased the school construction fund $9,030.25. This is for the Bristol contract, task order 39, where they're overseeing the high school roof replacement from the engineering perspective. And then we pay Bristol, and then I bill the school, and the school reimburses us for the contract.
All right. Any more questions on the mid-year construction fund? Hearing none, go ahead and brief us on the changes to the mid-year port fund.
In the port operating fund, the revenue increased to $167,050 for a total of $2.8 million. Port Director Baker and her team went through and did an evaluation of where they were at to date for revenue, what they expected to collect by June 30, and change the numbers accordingly. Are there specific questions about the revenue?
No questions.
And in the expense side, again, an increase of $167,050. Just some true ups in salary and benefits and some changes in the operating. The biggest change, I think, is the transfer out for $169,996 to the capital projects fund, which we will look at next. Is there questions in port operating expense?
Nikki, what is the $60,000 budget adjustment for miscellaneous causeway revenue? Looks like it was originally budgeted at 90 and added another 60. You know what that is?
Nikki, Joy's in here too.
The other way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Couldn't read your lips.
The miscellaneous causeway revenue, the $60,000 increase.
Increase in the miscellaneous, you said?
I think so, yeah.
Causeway?
My own is just due to activity.
Yeah.
Let me look at this.
I guess that's on page
My, no, I got it right here.
one. I'm curious what the miscellaneous revenue is.
Oh, that's,
207
we're
under causeway.
that's, security fees.
For like cruise ships
yeah,
and foreign vessels.
Yeah, passenger fees, facility, cruise ship security, passenger and, facility sort of head tax. We don't call it that, but that's what it is.
Okay. Is that the majority
those
of that
fees
60,000?
collected at the causeway when the ships are at the dock.
Cool, thanks.
You bet.
Any more questions on the port fund? Did you finish, Nikki?
So on the port capital projects, we have decreased the budget $370,602. Most of this is just truing up the budget for the Cape Nome project. And we reduced that almost 1.5 million. Added 157,000 for the grant true up for the state grant that we have for the port project. We're estimating 800,000 in revenue from the escrow in F26. And we have that transfer in for 169,000 coming over from port operating. And right now that transfer is covering the non-grant projects, which is the Snake River Moorage project, the fuel line upgrade replacement for 244,000. And then we decreased the contribution to fund balance 122,000 due to those projects that have come in since we last did the budget. And that takes that fund to 14.6 million.
All right. Any questions on the Port Capital Projects Fund? All right, so no more questions on the budget amendments? Hearing none, we'll move on to item G, resolution.
Sorry.
You okay?
Resolution R 26-02-01, a resolution proclaiming February 2026 as Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Nome.
There-
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Councilmember Lust,
Second.
seconded by Councilmember Miller. Is there any discussion?
Will we be doing anything to highlight this throughout the month? Any information campaign or?
I know the
anything
hospital's
teaming up
doing
with anybody?
some. We're gonna do a couple ads, a radio spot, so I just pulled those from the National Cancer Society and the state. So we're actually doing something in partnership with the governor's office, so.
Nice. And that'll go out and print and.
I'm hoping to get one today, or excuse me, tomorrow, because I saw where Neil's, and then I've got to get with the radio station on a couple things. So, yeah, we got to get. I know there are deadlines now, so how to work. Yeah. So yes, absolutely, it's an important subject.
Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lust,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
All right. Motion carries. The resolution is passed. Next item will be the utility manager's report.
Good evening. Thomas, Superintendent for your Nome Joint Utility System. The lights are on and the water is flowing. We repaired the leak outside of 6th Avenue water tank today. I know a lot of people have been calling about it. These times are peculiar when we hit storms after storms, and then it gets cold and then it gets warm, and people are traveling, and so we felt like the stars were aligning today to be able to repair the leak. But we want to thank the community for their patience in seeing that water bubbling on 6th Avenue. We also helped in some other local areas in town with other leaks. The water and sewer department, they've been busy, and so I'm grateful for their work. Line crew as well. We've had some, we've had some bigger outages. on City 1 and City 2 on January 25th. I don't know if John reported on those in a previous meeting, but reason for those outages is basically Mother Nature covering our system in thick ice. And then the winds hit and our lines slap, and it can cause a lot of headache. But we've been out there 2 a.m., 10 a.m., 10 p.m., doesn't matter. We find people, we go out and fix it. And our ambition is to cover those issues as fast as we can. And we're always grateful for the community to when they call in to our power plant. I know Facebook is always easy to go out and comment, but we do have a great number, 6321, for our power plant. Welcome community to call and report issues. Let's see what else we might have here. We've run both plants due to the high loads in the community, both the new plant and the old plant. And we got through these cold spells pretty well. A short update on the turbine claim. I know John mentioned that last time. The turbine claim has been accepted by the insurance company and proceedings, and we're proceeding with repairs this summer of turbine 1. And so that will be a large project up there on the hill. And to end with some really good news, Josh Scott, former line crew apprentice on our crew, he passed his final classes and he accumulated the last couple of hours, so he's now a certified journeyman lineman, which brings our entire line crew into that status of being journeyman, which is, I understand it, quite unique for a place like this to have four qualified people like that. So congratulations to Josh and to Nome for having him on the crew. Any questions for the utilities? All right, thank you.
Are we still paying off 2024 and fuel in 2025?
The fuel?
Yeah.
I believe that's been paid off.
Okay.
But we have a board meeting on next Tuesday where John and probably can address the details of that. But if I remember correctly.
And I know I asked it about other meetings. Did all the audits get finished?
The audits are making great progress. We've had auditors in town last week, or if it was 2 weeks ago, working with us on finishing up loose ends. We had an inventory audit done, which we passed, which was a big step in the process. So again, a John question for sure, but what I hear is we're looking at the end of summer to tie everything together.
Just a refresher, what happened to turbine number 1, the windmill? I know it's been down for a long time, and I always had heard it was insurance claim, it was insurance claim. It's just an insurance claim.
Right.
And I might have just missed it somewhere.
Yeah, I'd be happy to sit down and talk in details with you, but a component failure, that one failure led to another failure, led to another failure, led to a complete failure. It's, yeah, I can go over the report with you.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just wasn't sure if I missed it somewhere.
No, that's a good question, but a component.
When you say the meeting is next Tuesday, do you mean tomorrow or the week following?
Sorry, next week's Tuesday. That's the 17th.
Okay.
Yep. We have a board meeting at 5:30 over at the power plant.
Great. Any further questions? Hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
City manager's report?
Yep. Just two things quick. Next Monday, AML has called and they can be here Monday from 9 until 3 to do the complete training. If not, it's going to be deeper into March. So I've said, okay, give me that date.
What was the reason why it got canceled the last time?
They couldn't make it. Yeah. This is the time of the year there. So they were able to tie 3 other areas up here and just come up and kind of base out of here for a week. Plus they've got 2 local events here at Old St. Joe's. It's not us, it's AML. So
Do we have any interest in any of the camp permits or anything?
the what now?
Camp permits? Is anybody come in?
Has it been anything with the cab stuff this week?
One person came in.
That's true. That's always, I mean, there was really no business trying, there was discussion.
I do know that we do have all these rides for donation people still out there, so. I had a person, Jennifer reached out to me for my Didrot asking what's going on with the cabs, and I'm like, I don't know. I didn't really know what to tell her, so.
We're kind of, anyway, no. So Monday, the 16th, 9 to 3.
Will not work for me, but that's okay. I can watch a recording afterwards.
Okay, yeah, we are going to record it. Yeah.
Is that at Old St. Joe's or?
We're going to do it right here. Yeah.
It's a holiday.
Yeah, we were down to, and it was like 3rd week of March. I said, we can't, do the best we can. So, and my final piece of action today is I'd like to do 2 things. But I'd like to introduce our new police chief, but also I would like Chief Crockett, if he would come up. I just personally would like to say thank you. He and his family, extraordinarily a caring person. And I don't say that about a lot of people, Will. But when I know I've got somebody who cares, that has a good heart, there's somebody you want, and I appreciate, just as manager, what you've done all these years. And, it's not an easy job. So now you can slap him and say, do you feel it? No, no, I do. But thank you, Will, to you and your family, and just, call me when things get bad somewhere in the world, and I'll come stay with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Does anybody want to say anything to Will or before we get out of here? And Chief, he's already been up. We put him to work as soon as he landed. And I got you. I had the first snow the next day. I had to call Chris and say, Chris, I'm stuck. And I don't want anybody to see me. He said, I'm coming. I guess everybody came down that road and saw me. But guess who got stuck yesterday? And he's lived up here, our new chief.
Well,
And I'm so glad, because,
if you don't get stuck, you're not driving around.
That's exactly, well, thank you for that. Anyway, I know he had already been up, but we're excited about, law enforcement. Will has set a good tone, and Chief Heintzelman will too, and we're going to grow from there and always have a great department. So, and then the gentleman in the very back, I can call him Santa, helps me out. That's all right. But Brandon, we appreciate, your time, and, you guys did a good job in keeping a good man. So we appreciate it, Brandon. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. And that's it.
Okay. Any further questions for city manager? All right. Hearing none. Next item on the agenda will be citizens' comments. Going once.
Recording stopped.
You can say anything you want now.
No citizens' comments. Then we'll move on to mayor's comments and report. It's been a busy couple of weeks. This last week I went, or 2 weeks ago, I went to the chamber fly-in in Juneau and had the opportunity to meet with Donnie and Neil and talk to them about our legislative priorities and priorities as well that the chamber and other businesses have. The chamber fly-in was organized pretty well. We were able to, after an intro meeting, we split up into groups of 3 or 4 and took a series of issues to a series of different representatives and senators. So I was able to meet some folks outside of my district that I didn't normally meet, and I thought that would be valuable for us. Coming back this last week, as you know, the council, we took a tour of the school. I thought that was a good thing to do, and I was happy to see all of you there that were able to get in on that. That's about all I've got to report on tonight. Thank you. So we'll move next to council members' comments.
Student Representative Stisenko.
We're trying to set up a clothes drive for students to bring in clothes, and we're trying to, this is all like very beginning steps. We're trying to connect with NACTech to use their washing machine to kill off any bed bugs or anything like that. And then we'll make it like against the grades. So whoever donates the most clothes gets a pizza party and root beer floats. And we can disperse those clothes into neighboring villages.
Thank you.
Councilmember West.
You know, I've got a lot on my mind tonight, things that I want to say specifically about school and our budget and things I'm gonna hold off on that. I think it's important that keeping open lines of communication, not getting excessive rhetoric, can ensure that we have much better outcomes down the line, but I'm very much looking forward to continued communication and talking and working with the school board to better understand where they stand on certain things, what their priorities are, and what their long-term visions are as we continue through this budget process. But I was once in a room with a group of teachers, and I think it's just important to acknowledge the anxiousness that they're going through and experiencing tonight. It doesn't mean that I have an answer for them right now, but I'm certainly thinking about it. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Councilmember Green.
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed the tour over at the schools, and it was a bit eye-opening, just seeing some things I've never seen before. And I'd like to reiterate what Councilman West is talking about, communicating with each other and the school board and us, and just having more meetings with each other, and trying to work with each other in the future and to decrease costs and share services to try and make things work for all around.
Did you call on me?
No, not yet, Mark.
Okay, it's really, really hard to hear.
Yes, sorry, Councilmember Green has just finished his comments. Thank you.
Councilmember Miller.
I would like to see a credit card and tap reader at the pool and the rec center, and I'm going to say that until I see one at both locations. I agree with the other council members that we had a really good opportunity to tour the school, and I appreciated the insight that gave us. You know, it's different to see things in pictures or on the meeting packet, and I look forward to, as we look at like the rec centers projects, to do the same thing with some of our other facilities, and also looking at how we can kind of cut costs in maintaining the infrastructure that we have, and to keep it, you know, going, and cut different things here and there. I know heat is usually a problem at a lot of our older buildings, so taking a look at that. I'd also kind of like to poke Lee to get back to the school. You know, having teachers come here and feel not supported is it's very difficult to hear because I think at the school too, we do have a hard time with retention and, you know, having teachers come to our meeting and talk about not feeling supported in front of our students actually is kind of, you know, not something I'm happy to hear. But I'm welcome to, you know, having more discussions with the school board and however we can make this process smoother because we do it every single year. So, I mean, we've got to come to a solution. Secondly, I'm looking forward to our community development plan with the Miss Queen.
And, yeah, we're
And
gonna
so
do
how
a
are we gonna-
presentation within 2.5, 3 weeks after, I hate to call
Heavy,
it,
like,
but
I
we're
want to
doing,
make it clear that like we need to have really good like community outreach and
see, we've already done the upfront. We did that, in the summer.
Mhm.
So now we're doing this next piece that we're at what I would say the stage 1 draft. It's taken about 6 months. That's pretty typical. But we're going to talk to you about the groups, what they've come up with, but to bring you that draft so we can use some of that for the budget as far as things that have been asked for and help us to prioritize. So,
yeah,
and
just
then we
trying
can,
to keep
yep.
the community included on that. And
Yep.
with that, I would like to also kind of ask Miss Joy, as she's here, if at some point we can do a couple more, even just community discussions or questionnaires about the port, including, you know, some of the visuals we have in the packet with the community as we kind of near everything. And like
Just a general kind of an update,
yeah,
community
you know,
update.
just yeah,
or
updates or
something.
even just opportunities for the community to ask
They have
questions.
everything.
And
Yeah,
learn
sure.
a little bit
Yeah, we
more
can
about
do
it.
that.
I think it's kind of been, I mean, a lot of this process has started kind of during COVID, you know, when we were disconnected and having
True.
a lot of, I think just having another opportunity for community members to be prepared before this large change in our community happens and getting us to kind of start to think about the infrastructure needed to maintain something like this when, you know, we're struggling kind of right now is also concerning to me. So yeah, that's all the comments I have for tonight.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Miller.
Councilmember Johnson?
Thank you. Having unfortunately to zoom in from downtown Unalakleet, I want to make a ploy again for the city to do a better job at providing a sound system that actually works. You can hear people, some people loud and clear, and other ones you can't hear at all. And I think that this has been going on for a couple of years now at least. And I think that we can do much better than that. So
It's being priced as we
Secondly-
speak.
I'm sorry, what's that?
It's being priced now for the budget.
Great, thank you. Secondly, when we were out at the school and briefly met with the city council or the student council out there, they mentioned that they had still a huge problem with vaping, especially in the bathrooms. And where some of the city council members saying that it was uncomfortable for some people to go even in the bathrooms because of so many kids that are vaping in there. Can we please meet with the school and figure out what it is that we can do to help assist with that problem? And then thirdly, I lost my train of thought after vaping, but guess that's all for tonight. Thanks.
Thank you.
Councilmember Henderson?
I'd kind of forgotten about the city sound system because KNOM does such a good job of covering the meetings, but Mark is right. We need to upgrade the sound system, replace it, whatever. So lots of budget challenges, but that's important. I want to thank Chief Crockett for his service to the city. It's not an easy job, and I'm sure you well understand that, but I appreciate about 2 years, I think, that you gave to the city, and I appreciate your service. Welcome back, Mike. And I know you're going to continue to make the improvements and that the community is looking forward to, but I feel that the NPD is in good hands. And I appreciate, is it Brandon? You're sort of stepping in as the interim chief when we needed you. So I appreciate that. I do want to thank Jamie and her team out at Nome Public Schools. They did a great job. And it was sort of an act of good faith, you know, in terms of inviting the city council and you know, acknowledging there's policy difference and they sort of laid everything out for us. And I think towards the end of the tour, we had actually some pretty meaningful discussion. And we're not always going to agree, but like the rest of the other council members indicated, this maintaining and sort of encouraging this open dialogue, I think, is going to be important for us to find common grounds, you know, this budget year and in the future. So I really appreciate, you know, Jamie spending the whole day with us and the school board as well. So that's it. Thanks.
I do, if I might, I want to say, and I normally wouldn't speak up on this, but I'm afraid there'll be an entourage out here in the morning. I didn't tell the schools no on money. I said we're not there yet. I won't know until probably April or May because I can't speak for what council will put in for schools. So I wanted to clarify we're not there yet, you know, so just anyway.
And unfortunately, the timing is very challenging.
It is.
You know, as the schools have to set their budget and we're still, you know, dealing with, you know, figuring out our own budget and the state hasn't decided on funding. And so unfortunately, the timing is very challenging.
It's tough.
Everybody kind of getting their budgets in place. So
Anyway, thank you.
that's all. Thanks.
All right, that concludes most of the agenda, except of course for the remaining last item. Motion by Councilmember Less, seconded by Councilmember all.
Me.
All those in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion fails. Oh, someone wishes to reconsider. All right, motion carries.
Oh,
Adjourn at 8:17.
you're on a roll again.
Yeah.